record.
Please ask the host to give you permission to record.
Okay, so recording. No. Because I'm already recording.
Okay. Then you can maybe send me with transcript.
Yeah. I will. Yeah. Can you record? Do you see that it is recording?
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh, so you had a concussion, but you feel better now?
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
But actually here, I wasn't sure that I wake up in the morning when I went to the sleep, or not I, but this body, because it was quite brutal. Yeah.
Wow.
Like after this falling, there was like a couple of hours I wanted to fall asleep. The body wanted to fall asleep 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So it is the sign that there is something wrong. And usually when people fall asleep, then they may die after that. Yeah. For the evening, it went okay, but still, when I was falling asleep, then thoughts were arising that maybe I should visit doctor because not because of the fear of death, but it is like silly when there is option to visit the doctor and you are not using it because apparently husband, daughter, mother will lose the sister and mother and husband or wife. And it was so surprising when I was opened my eyes in the morning. There was like little bit like excitement or happiness arising. Wow, this body waked up. Amazing.
Still alive.
Yeah, this beautiful human experience we can have. Like, wow.
Yeah. I remember it was like it's already quite a while ago, but around like, I don't know, when things were so intense, there were a few times that I felt like, oh, I think this is it. The body will just die. Or like I went to the dentist and then, I don't know, there was some anesthesia. And then it's like, the way it felt, because there's no knowing. There's no knowing that this you are going to be alive or this is it. And, so I remember having few times, it's like, oh, but I guess I'm still here.
Yeah. Like no control whatsoever. Like it was slippery, falling happened, and this mind can't think about anything when this is happening. But the body was like protecting herself to not fall with the back in the floor. So it was like holding this, and then it was like sudden movement, and it made my brain move inside this head, and I was feeling that, and also the eyeballs were moving, and so there was a couple of hours dizziness and not understanding quite well what's going on. But body is like trying to survive every time. Like you are not doing anything, and you can't prevent anything to happen.
But that's also amazing part to see. Oh my gosh, my body already, it is moving towards its own best life.
Yeah.
Like, right? It is like without, I mean, that's the thing. It's like people think, oh, maybe there was a fear a long time ago. Oh, if I'm not here, then what's going to happen to my life? But actually, it is like actually better because that controller is not here. Everything is, I mean, while it is happening, it's kind of, there's like, some funny episode. But once now I feel like it is kind of like, ordinary, more or less fluctuates, but it's also to see, to just watch. Oh my gosh, all the time, this brain and this body was always moving towards like creating the best dream possible. you know, the most amazing, I don't know. And that's kind of that's like, that's so wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah. The body is trying to heal all the time. We are not knowing it, but it always tries to go to the healing. So in the healing direction.
Yes.
And that this body is going to the doctor and this body is taking the medicine and you are not doing it anything.
I mean, it just naturally, and sometimes there's also feeling like as if I'm doing something. I think it kind of sometimes in and out, you know, but even that, the feeling that, oh, I want to do something, or I'm doing things, but because it's so like it's so, you know, on the line that it really doesn't even, like sometimes it's wow, it's happening by itself. Sometimes it's like, it feels like I'm doing it, but it all becomes exactly the same, you know? Yeah, and then also I was thinking even about like the emotional healing or like all those things that in my, you know, in the story of Grace, there was like years of, I don't know, doing many different things or meditation and something, but it was all just the body moving towards its own healing. You know, and then it was all happening by itself, whether it's a meditation, whether it's a healing, whether it's a plant medicine, whether it's, I don't know, seeing different healers or therapies or even listening to non-duality, is because the body is like, somehow it is moving, naturally moving towards its own, you know, its own justice. But if there is a belief or feeling like that, it's like, oh, something is not right, it will naturally all move towards it, and everything is going to appear to whatever is I don't know, in that dream, whatever it is, like, I guess, you know, fits that experience. And then it kind of like, that feels like a process, or that feels like a journey, you know? But then in the end, it's like, wow, actually all the time, everything was happening by itself.
Yeah. There is no doer. And so that it seems like sometimes that you are the doer or you are the thinker. For here, it means like this illusion is so perfect. And that's why. But even if this is happening, then there is like no thinking why it arises like this, or no suffering, or a long time, I don't know, no guilt or shame, anything. Or even the guilt and the shame can arise. Everything can arise. It's this unconditional freedom expressing as this, nothing wrong with anything.
But it's also so, I think, I mean, I don't know, of course, this is a story, but once, you know, it kind of like collapses, everything, I think, according to the condition, it can come, like it can, I don't know, all kind of feelings, but because it's so empty, you know, because it has no like stickiness or weight, so it's just kind of, it feels like just whatever was conditioning, it seemed to kind of happen, but like unravel, but because it's so, there's no stickiness or there's no weight, just very you know, and it does feel like just kind of more and more zero. Of course, it's always zero, but the feeling of the human experience.
Right? It seems like this these old conditionings for the body, they are also like the body is like forgetting slowly. Arising, like the trauma is arising, but there is no one inside, no trauma, but something is triggering the body, like the body have this memory or something. And then, but there is no story arising anymore.
Totally.
Just, wow. And sometimes even some kind of image can come nowhere. Like, I don't know, let's say mom stopped breastfeeding too early. I don't know, whatever. You can't remember these things, but whatever.
In the moment, I had one moment out of nowhere, this kind of like a feeling like, oh, some kind of trauma in the system that was like there, and wow. And then there was like an image. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, some things. But, and then in the moment, I was like, what? It felt so horrible. And so like, oh, And then I was thinking, wow, this feels real. But then like when I woke up, it was all gone. It's like, wow, because there's nothing, it's just so full on. And then
Gone.
yeah, gone. And then like each time that happens or something kind of, you know, the body, something gets triggered and then gone, it feels like just like less and less of something.
Yeah.
Right? It is that kind of feeling of like, oh, just like, oh, but who knows, right?
Yeah, exactly. But this is like when doing one-on-ones, then main problem is that when there is good times, it seems like there is no me. But then something is happening, a stressful situation, then me is back, me is reacting, overreacting and everything. And they doesn't seem to like to hear this, that this is also it. And this is the body conditioning. I don't know, maybe this stressful reaction is good for the body. Body is doing it by itself. You are saying that this is wrong, but nothing is wrong.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
Yeah. And then also that's precisely that. It seems like, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. But it seems like that because this is just a story, so I'm not really sure anymore. But when I was a person in the memory, because I felt like it had a meaning, you know? It's like, oh, I need to understand. And it is like all going into that story. It seemed like it kind of made it so serious that it's like, and then, but it's precisely that desire for good feelings and aversion to bad feelings. So it is like, because when you have that going on, that's what creates like this sense that I need to understand, or there must be a meaning, you know, because somehow if I understand, then I can somehow control to just like have more, I don't know, more like good feelings as opposed to, but when that collapses, it's just, that's kind of the paradoxical secret, then whatever is bad kind of passes so quickly.
It's like the knowing is fulfillment or fulfilling you somehow. That's why you need these meanings, I guess. Like this means that, then this happened because of that, and this kind of thing. So like even when you're going to the doctor or you're getting that diagnosis, then often everything will go better as now you know what's wrong.
But I think because that's the separation. That's like there's an entity, there's somebody inside that need to know and need to make it better somehow. Like I can control the illusion of being in control. Whereas, yeah, the mind can have experience of, oh, I feel better because now I understand what is going on. Now I have a plan, you know. But that's kind of the what doesn't. I mean, cannot say it doesn't exist because I don't know. I mean, it's okay to have also feelings like that, but it just has no reality, no substance to actual, you know, to the experience of the mind. But I don't know. That's where it's like very, how can you say, no, that one is not, that one is what's not there, you know? So, yeah.
It was crazy when this nowhere collapsed here. Like, what? I just knew it. How it's possible that I don't find that? Like, I don't have this knowing box anymore where I had this knowing, and I don't know now. And even when here was like some kind health issues, but I don't know. It was just this, and not wanting to know what's this. And I still don't know what it was. It was quite long period it happened in this body when this falling away happened. And in a story, like previously, in a story, I think I would go to the doctor and would be worried and would call my mom and then call my friend and like for me.
Well, because it's so full on. When it's happening, you just have you cannot do anything because you are so full on. And then once it's gone, everything disappears. So there's nothing to say. You know,
yeah, exactly. And then it's gone. Then it's gone. And then mom is calling next day, how are you? I'm good. And then she starts to tell that, oh, but yesterday, like, what are you talking? I don't remember even what happened. And then she's going to this yesterday's story, what happened. There was a stomach virus, and I was like, Mom, what we are talking about? I'm good. You were asking, how are you? And I'm good. What we are talking about? No need to go inside these suffering stories or for me and so on. Like
the land of this reality, mental reality. You know, like that's because that's where all the, I don't know, like I think people, that's the location, because I need to know my reality. There's me and my daughter, I don't know, and then oh, she was sick and what to do. You know, it's like the whole world where it's like it feels so much, and when it's gone, and it's like actually nothing is missing. That's kind of the crazy part, right?
Yeah. Like no one is holding on that kind of things. Like it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, but it is also the funny part is it felt so real, or people so important. It's so important. It is like how is it possible to not know anything and not have the mind? And then so it feels like 99% of, I don't know, existence, when in fact it's not even 1%. I mean, and it doesn't affect anything in life. I like my life is totally fine, and it's even better, like in many, many ways. I mean, I don't know, you know, it's just like so that's kind of the wow. I mean, it's like mind blowing.
Yeah,
you know?
It's so much lighter. So in that sense, it's so much better.
Yeah.
But of course, no one can achieve it. So it happens. This falling away in the story happens when it happens. But yeah, when it happened here and all this suffering fell away, but my mom was at the same time in lots of sufferings. So I opened my mouth. Well, I didn't do it. It happened. And I introduced this message to her. And it wasn't a good idea. Because then there was even more suffering, because she already died. And now she's hearing that her daughter is dead. Like, how am I going to call you? Can I still call your daughter? I said, Mom, call me as you want. And yeah, there is no one. If here is someone, then I wouldn't tell that to my mom. No. At this time when she had.
Yeah, because I think there was, for a while, it was a little kind of confusing, because I kind of forgot like how to, I mean, not really, but I felt like I forgot how to talk to people. Or somebody asked me like, oh, Grace, are you busy nowadays? And then there was a moment that I just like, wow, what does busy mean? I completely had no idea how to respond, you know? So it's like, there was this like momentary kind of like, because, yeah. And then, so, but now it seems like, it's like more used to, the brain is more used to, okay, like, you know, like, okay, kind of just more like act normally, and it's not necessary to, you know, to talk about it at all. I mean, from the beginning, it was obvious, but I think like in everyday interaction, there was times that I just like blank out.
Yeah.
You know? But now it is like somehow naturally my life feels like, I don't know, because I can be honest, just like I'm myself, just with my friends or my, you know, my client or something somehow. But, and sometimes somehow it just comes out, but I feel like it's because they can hear it, but I don't know, you know, my friend sometimes gets worried about me. It's like, Grace, no, you cannot say that. No, but you know.
Yeah, but you're not doing it. It just happens. And here is a story that maybe I don't know, as it is all energy, maybe if this message is coming out, then there is some kind of little openness.
Yes, yes.
I think this is a story. I don't know.
I totally believe that story, because there is no desire, no need to, do you know what I mean, to say it. But also like, and it's like so unexpectedly, you're talking to somebody and then somebody asks something and you look at their face and then it's just like they're asking you something and it just comes out, you know, and then their eyes are like, you know, and then it may change the subject or something. But I feel there is a feeling that somehow inside, when it comes out, inside their eyes, somehow they already know this emptiness. You know, because it's like that emptiness always wants to speak to emptiness. I don't know, something like that. No, and there is this kind of like this like
some kind of longing that you are not aware of.
Yeah. It feels like that. Of course, I don't know, but it feels like, I mean, at least the people that come to my life or something, somehow there is like, you know, it's like the emptiness is coming towards the emptiness. But I mean, of course, that's just, you know.
Yeah, of course, it's a story we don't know, but it seems like that it's all energy. And when some relationships are, how to say in English, they fell away, then it is because there was nothing to speak anymore, or no resonance.
No, it's like,
but before there was maybe just you have to be in a relationship because you have always been, or you were in the school together, or blah blah blah, these mind stories, but they are not here anymore. And then when there is no resonance, then it falls away. It happens naturally,
totally spontaneously. It and somehow I feel pretty lucky that I think, like, without me knowing about anything, I think naturally for years it was just like finding already, I don't know, friends that are more, because it's so obvious that, you know, it's natural, even though they don't know that. Exactly, they wouldn't say it. They say it's like, great, I'm still here, but the way they experience life, and it is, you know, it's not so conceptual reality or in the mind. They're more like just kind of like you know, just kind of happy and simple. So
more easygoing and
easygoing, no drama. and I think it was already, you know, I think years ago I started to kind of like, it's too stressful, difficult, and it was naturally already becoming like that, you know. So whether it is like you have this non-dual, I don't know, awakening or something, regardless, I think naturally inside, apparently people will always move towards what is more easygoing, less drama, and more towards this joy and like right, the connection, I mean apparent connection, just so, but
yeah, this natural flow happening by itself.
Natural flow. And whether somebody's like all these words like spirituality, awakening or not, it actually it's just a empty concept, you know, that to describe what is already naturally happening. And I think that's kind of the freedom, like that you somehow it is because it's no longer, I think maybe when I was like, when I thought I was like, you know, in a spiritual something meditating, or I'm like, oh, I understand, and, you know, reading books or something, then I felt like it was important, you know, to kind of find my tribe, or I don't know, the people like that are like me or something. But the freedom and the beauty is that completely gone, and you're just like, just the whole, everyone, just so, you're just like, oh, you know, can see the beauty, like, oh my gosh, right? It's like
there is no need. There is no need for anyone.
Oh, no, to agree or not, because it's all the mental thing. Because when that collapses, then it's just all becomes immediate connection. Like, and also like, it's like how beautiful people become, right? And sometimes I'm like, sometimes I get so surprised. I don't know. I mean, it's not that I'm always thinking, oh, people are beautiful. It's not like that. It's just like, right? And yesterday I was like, I saw a client and then her assistant came. Oh, Grace, would you like some tea? And then I looked at her. I couldn't believe. I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, oh my gosh, how come, like, you know, you're like the cutest person in the world. Like, I was so surprised. And it was sometimes, and then I was like, wait a minute, but I've seen her before, like, but because it's all so new and in the moment, you know, like sometimes people just become the most beautiful person in the world. It's like so shocking.
Yeah, it is. Here it is like feeling lots of love. I'm saying unconditional love because it's not personal. And when I'm talking with persons or with even the one I don't know doing one-on-one, and when here is like this, I don't know, heart opening feeling, then I can't shut my mouth up, and I will say that here is so much love right now, and I love you. Like sometimes they like freaking out a little bit, but it's just what happens. And this one haven't never in the story of Ere, this one haven't never said anything good when she didn't think about good. So this one never had two faces. This one never wanted to like to anyone. So I didn't have much friends because of that. This one was very authentic, and when she said something good, it was really, really meant. But this world seems to be like more trying to like everyone and so on. So they don't take it so honestly when this one is expressing very, very truthfully these feelings. And sometimes this feeling of love is like burning, really burning feeling. It's wow, overwhelming. And that's why I can't do these things in too late. I also said that to you because there is so much warm energy that it doesn't allow this body to sleep. You can't do anything. Nothing works. When this body will not fall asleep, it doesn't. And there is no anxiety anymore because of that. I can be even awake all night, lying in bed, closed eyes or open eyes in dark room. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fall asleep. Then it is tired next day maybe. And this is it.
Yeah. I think recently, again, I went through like, you know, just so much energy. And sometimes it's like being in heaven, right? Wow, it's so amazing. And sometimes I know it is like the whole universe just like sparkles. It's like, oh, but sometimes it's like, it's just so too much energy. And I cannot say it's beautiful, but it is kind of like uncomfortable or something. And then, then it is what it is, you know, and then the next day I can be tired. But yeah, like I think recently I went through that, and now I think now it is more like, I mean, it can change, but like more calm and you know, balanced. And but yeah, because it's like when it was happening, it was literally like I felt like my body is like plugged into an electrical socket, right? It's just, and then sometimes like I go out. I mean, when it was happening, when it's really strong, it is like I felt like, oh my gosh, like I'm high all the time. But it's like you're like, wow, and you know, it's like, wow, wait a minute. And when I didn't even realize that this is high. Like, but then when I talked to my friend, and she was like, wow, it sounds like you are, you know, like high. And then I remember, oh, like, oh wow, yeah, because this was, but then because this becomes your new normal, this becomes like you don't even, you don't even realize that, you know, you are always high, but it's kind of like that. And then it kind of sometimes becomes more ordinary. And then, but
Yeah.
so this is my theory. This is completely empty theory. Is I think because all the knowing, if there's a brain, because when you knew a lot, all the ideas and concepts, I think it was all like felt constricting. And then, you know how they say in the story, there's a pineal gland, and I don't know, that you know, produces these chemicals that kind of gives you this like feeling high and amazing and wonder. So I think all the knowing kind of get unraveled. I think like slowly, maybe like all those like, you know, gland that is actually original human, a human being, like a baby, that is like, that makes everything so like new and amazing, and I don't know, just spontaneous and natural intelligence and everything. I think, I mean, I had that thought, maybe that's what is happening. It's just kind of because this is just becoming a human being, because actually this is what human being is. I don't know, you know, I don't know. So,
Just
but
natural beingness, maybe. But yeah, here was also like we were walking in the summertime, hiking with husband every day, and I really was asking in the middle of day that am I drunk? Maybe you put something to my food, or are you sure that we haven't drink anything? Although I wasn't drinking at that time, couple of years already, but it felt like that. Yeah, like this immediacy, like I don't know, I could melt to the sky, like just watching, and whatever these eyes were watching, it was like first time, like seeing my backyard trees first time, like what, like so beautiful and so bright, and everything was like I don't know, so deep,
so vivid, like so vivid, you know, it's like so vivid and like full on, and you're just like, oh, I think that's what children, kind of babies, like, you know, that's why they're this perpetually like, wow. And
yeah.
it's like you cannot believe even the buildings, or I don't know, it's like anything, you know, walls or something. It sometimes it's like
I just remembered when in the summer I was sitting in my hammock in this terrace, and I was watching these trees and birds, and I was doing like wow and talking with myself, and then suddenly singing, and then suddenly laughing, and then my eyes catch the window, and my husband was looking like he really thought that I have losing my mind, because seeing it from window like a couple of minutes, what this one was doing, totally sober in daylight, like yeah, sometimes it was even tiring to get. It was too intense, all this wow, because it was constant wow, like talking. I have goosebumps right now. Whew, it's good that it have now more balanced. It's not so much wow anymore, but still it can happen, but not so intensely, because yeah, the body gets used to it maybe.
I think so, because I remember, it was like in the beginning I had to sleep like a lot and just like stay in bed and doing nothing, and then, you know, it was like very just like so vulnerable and raw, feeling like a baby, and then sometimes so powerful, right? It's like wow, like the world is your oyster. So I think it was more like, I don't know, but now I feel like you know, it's like okay, it's like more like you know, and I started to kind of like exercise again, because for a while I couldn't, there was nobody to exercise. I had no, you know, I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, but it is now, it is more like, okay, you know, now it's like, you know, I'm going to live like a person, you know?
Yeah.
You know? It's like you're free to live like a person, you know? But of course, it's, I don't know, I think that's also the freedom, the beauty of like just also being human, you know? Yeah.
Same here, because this one have been training all her life, but suddenly, or I don't know, gradually it stopped.
Right.
And in a story, it was this falling away period.
Yeah.
And I don't know, going to the gym didn't happen. And then falling away happened. And then it was seen like, here is no one, no goals anymore, no dieting anymore, no rules anymore. Like this
No
one went to
motivation.
McDonald's.
No motivation, no desire, no ambition, completely like no want, no want anything. It's like, I don't understand,
Yeah. And then I started to drink a little bit alcohol, trying again to drink alcohol. Like 1 glass of wine is enough, because it feels very heavy in this body. Right. And but like all rules were falling away. And here was thought, even when there was any error anymore, that, oh my God, maybe this body turns out 200 kilograms if it doesn't go to the gym.
I was like, because for a few months, I didn't move anything. I was just like, and then I could feel my body was like, oh, changing into, do you know what I mean? Muscles are disappearing and just kind of like, oh, being a little bit like chubby or something. And then I felt like, oh, maybe because I couldn't imagine exercise or something, like doing something. So I thought, oh, maybe it will be like 200. I mean, maybe I'll be like obese or something, It's like, but who knows? And then, but it's like, you cannot make it like, if that happens, you cannot stop it.
Yep, exactly. The same thoughts were arising here. And then there was belief that it will not happen. And if it happens, then it's just what happens. No one is doing it. But here was like little belief that or hope that this body have always been active.
Because, me too. Yeah.
Although there wasn't anyone inside to be active. So I was just hoping that maybe one day going to the gym happened. And it happened in December, like 1 year later. And now we are back in the gym, and it feels so good without goals anymore, without eating from the boxes, and without counting the calories. It's just free. And just body is doing what body likes to do. When it feels tired, then there is no story that, oh, yesterday I promised to myself that I'm going to take to the gym. No, it's so relaxed, like no frustration about anything.
No, because it's also, it's like, this is, I think, the freedom of being human, but it's also simultaneously, because it's completely empty. Completely empty, and then totally you're being human, and then there is this one. But it's like, so that's why even if you try, you can never like take anything too seriously or too, I don't know, but sometimes in the dream you can, with other people, I can kind of like, oh wow, I can kind of like forget, right? But it is but it's very quickly. There is like nothing that I can build upon. Any stories or any dream is totally empty for a human being.
Yeah, the interest is losing very quickly when there is like going to the story, noticing it, and then it's like it's like talking about what you had dreamed last night.
Exactly.
It's so empty. Although it feels in this real life, but like really happening, previously happening, but there's no past. It's just a story, like. But sometimes these stories are arising, and it's fun to share this. But
totally. And then there is, I think it's more so because it's so empty. I feel like I'm more getting into when I, meet my friends or clients. It's like, because there's more love, more engagement in the moment. So it feels like more live. But it's totally, that's kind of the funny thing, so we are more into the stories in the moment, but then it is like you forget everything. There's nothing that I don't know, you know. I know. Wait, what I had, I was thinking about what to talk about, you know. I mean, I sort of, yeah.
This blackout happens here very, very often, and or this blanking.
I know.
When somebody is asking, how are you doing? And I'm trying to find this I. But do you know, I quite recently recognized that, or got this, oh, I forgot this English word. But I have always, not always, but in the story of Ere, have this kind of moments when people are asking, how are you? And I don't know how to say because it's like,
oh yeah,
like you don't even know who you are, or
yeah.
I don't know what to answer, or how to take this picture together, how this is, like how it's like the same, how to talk about this.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's kind of interesting point, because I think in the apparent in the like people, when people are very like maybe introverted, or maybe like, you know, have their own inner world, sometimes it can, I think actually that's pretty common, like people, you know, get a little like, oh, don't know how to, I don't know, really have that kind of conversation. Honestly, but most people, they just kind of learn these patterns, patterns of conversation, right? Like, or the conditioning is like, oh yeah, like what did you do? Yeah, blah blah blah. You know, it's like, oh yeah, great, and da 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 da. You know, it's like, so it's like this program. So it's everybody is kind of running on the program, but actually many people, like it is inside underneath the program, and it actually is like, maybe that's why for many people life is very exhausting, because somehow without them knowing, they are always acting or always like pretending, you know. Whereas I think it was never necessary, but because this holding up this kind of fake world or fake reality, or I don't know, you know, when it's not authentic, or you're just kind of doing it because everybody, I don't know, somehow there's a belief that you have to fit into the world. It's super exhausting. It's super exhausting, right? So, and then in the end, the whole world disappears, you disappears, you disappear, and the whole world disappear. And then it's like, oh my gosh, life is great, you know?
And everyone also are disappearing.
What?
Everyone also are disappearing. You are disappearing, everyone are disappearing. World.
Yeah. Like when, I mean, in the beginning, it was like, there were times, wow, just everything is just so empty. And then there was a time that I felt like, oh, there's like a black hole. There's nothing here. But I still felt like there are other people, you know, and then right? And then I was like, there was times that I mean, thoughts, you know, very empty thoughts that's like, oh my gosh, they're going to freak out if they find out that I'm not here.
Yeah.
So it's like, Grace, focus. You have to really act ordinary so nobody finds out that you're not here. I mean, you know, that was like really funny thought, but it I mean, that happened, and of course then, you know, it's like everybody then start to disappear, and then everything just becomes like, you know.
Yeah. And then this one didn't know also how to have these normal conversations again. Because everything felt so meaningless, and everyone are telling only the stories, but this one doesn't resonate with these. So it was like very difficult, and I see that even now it's a little bit difficult, but it have gone smoother. To have this conversation with these apparent others. But mostly I'm speaking with my husband and with Grace, and with these others, no one, so to speak. It's
I know. I mean, I think that's it seems like, I don't know, it seems like kind of natural, because when this is all happening, it will be very, very difficult to speak to, relate to like a parent, other people who are like, I don't know, living in a mental world. That's why, I mean, luckily it feels like my best friends, they're all also disappearing. They don't know that, but so it their whole experience, I mean, every time, she would be like, oh, Grace, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, now I understand now, something like that, So it feels like naturally the people who are close in my life already, somehow they're all kind of, somehow I mean, I can always be honest and say what is honestly here without, having to go into like, I don't know. But yeah, just a random person or like a mental conversation, I have nothing to say. So those times I have absolutely nothing to say, Right?
Yeah. This one also finds itself often being quiet without having conversation with others. And then sometimes when there is asked, Ere, tell also something. And then it's like, even when you pull it out, there isn't coming anything out. And here is like no acting happens. Although I like to act when I was in the school.
Yeah. No.
If it doesn't happen.
Yeah, no. I find it though, it is like sometimes it's always like the connecting to the innocence of the person. It's like, because there are also many people who are also energetically open, or they're more, then it's much easier, because it's like this, you're just like, that, I don't know, like whether it's children or some people are naturally more innocent, I mean, for lack of better word. So naturally it seems like, I am also, these are parent bodies, naturally finding people who are, more simple and just like, then it's very simple things, So that's also I think, kind of the funny thing in spirituality. They made it so like complicated, like as if like all these scriptures, all this text, all this kind of wisdom, knowledge, whereas all that to become like a child, to become like 3-year-old, that you actually don't know anything, Oh, it's so good to talk to you, Erin.
You too. I don't know, somehow I think I haven't seen you in any lives, or somehow here is like feeling like I have known you all my life. I don't know how it's possible, even like, and this, I don't know, love and this energy, this boundlessness.
Well, I think that's the amazing thing, because it's like when the self falls away. I mean, as that's just a concept, but you know what I mean. It's then, because then they're your friend. I mean, Emerson, when I was talking to Emerson, we chat once in a while, and he said, yes, Grace, because the amazing thing about doing one-on-one is that when the self falls away, you have a new friend. And I was like, oh, that's right, because it is so easy. It is once, because it's not like a, I don't know, relationship. You're not relating. It's like, I'm not having relationship era, It's just happening all by itself. I say something, you say something, and
without any filters, without thinking, just talking happens. And
and also there's nothing for you to know me, and I don't have to know anything about you to know you.
Yeah, and there is no separation. That's the thing.
But it is the feeling, like as if I've known you, or like, of course, because you are me. I mean,
I wanted to say that right now. Oh my God.
I
It's so
know.
fun when this happens, when at the same time somebody else is saying exactly the same thing in your mind.
Yeah. It's so simple. And I mean, I think that's just like, for more than anything, I mean, of course, this falling away, collapse, non-duality. I mean, in the end, who cares? It's the what is amazing is that this like, you see how much you love everybody, or like how easy life can be, how so like you receive love from everywhere, and then equally there's so much love in the world. I mean, not in the world, but this so yeah.
Yeah, it's all unconditional love.
Mm.
And it doesn't actually matter if these videos are happening or these non-duality lives are happening, like everything can collapse or stop happening at any time. It doesn't have any meaning or purpose. It's just
no. I think that's kind of the because I thought maybe when I was on the spiritual path, because I was very interested in, I mean, apparently my brain kind of was very good at explaining things, like, I could, like, I don't know, like, understand whether it's like, all that. So I was thinking maybe there was a thought that, then I can help people to understand, or I don't know, if I'm someday, if I'm, I don't know, like, awaken or something. And then, but what happens is when that happens, everybody disappears. There's nobody you can help. And then you cannot take any process or any understanding seriously, because it becomes all so meaningless, So then it is like, that's why. But all along, that's the freedom, that you don't need to understand anything. You don't need to learn anything. You don't need to meditate. I mean,
yeah. It's all empty and fantasy, and yeah, I said I was finding this life purpose before this collapsing, like to be a shaman and healer, and also I started to heal others, and I already was channeling, and then my thoughts were when I was hearing this message that, oh my God, this higher self isn't also real. Like, okay, there is no soul, okay, there is no spirit, but the higher self, because I was channeling from the higher self, from the source directly, and it was really, really felt really happening. I didn't made it up.
No.
Yeah, there wasn't any reason for that. I wasn't doing it as a work. It happened at our home with our friends or with my husband and with my mom, healing her when she was in the hospital. And yeah, and then when it all collapsed, it was like, yeah, it was empty. It was just fantasy happening.
So, I mean, it's kind of funny to even say healing, but I do like a kind of body work, healing work. I mean, that I still do. And then so, because I was trained in massage therapy and just kind of all kind of therapeutic energy healing. I was all the things, but it was always in the business of like making people feel better. So it wasn't like channeling, or it wasn't conceptual. So and I, so there's this kind of the physical body and energy body, and when you work with energies, there's all kind of that. And then I really like, just like a physical body, I can feel, I don't know, these other bodies. And then when it happened, I couldn't, the whole sense of the energy body completely disappeared. So that I couldn't find anything, and then, but because I was also, my work, I mean, I can do body work, like physical work. So I think for a while it was just kind of like a massage therapy. And then it naturally, some of it comes back, but I don't call it like a healing or energy healing. No, because I actually have no idea. But sometimes, hands-on or whatever, it happens totally naturally. And it's like, because it's not something that I have to explain, I was already doing it. And even though now I have, good thing is I never have to explain or say anything. It's like people, my client, they just feel always, oh, Grace, you took away all the stress and worries. I think that's what happens. It's kind of like non-duality almost, but I don't have to say anything. And I think it's that energetically, maybe they feel really stressed or like, I don't know, worried or something, and then afterwards they just like, oh, like, so
to feel this emptiness when there is nothing and no one. And here also is that kind of thought that if healing happens, then it happens. Also, I'm not saying that I'm healing anyone, but when husband has some kind of problems, I put my hands, I do massage, and I find the places where are blockages, and then I work there more. And it's like my husband is always not like responding. I don't know how you find these places. It happens by itself.
Yeah, I think, just like some apparent individuals are like talented in like, let's say, musical instrument. They can play piano well. Some people are like very athletic, right? Everybody, apparent people have their own talent and stuff. And some people have the apparently like healing or therapeutic kind of energy or touch, right? Like, or like the energy, I don't know, because there's all, so I think it's just a story. Without the stories, it all happens by itself. So yeah. And then it seems like because it's like, I don't know, because emptiness like doesn't have stress or worries, or itself, right? It's like but of course they're already empty. Even the stress and worries is already empty. But sometimes like there's a movement happens that they're moving towards the emptiness to reflect that, oh, this worries and stress is not real or something, and then they just like, oh, like feel like they just feel like really good to I think it's to be reflected mirror that actually you're already not there. This is just pure energy. But of course, I'm not going to say that to my client. You're not there, of course, it's like, oh, just like ordinary like conversation. But that's what very obviously to me what seemed to happen. Yeah.
And, it's so beautiful to see that this kind of happens, although there is no one doing it, and you see that like really this client is getting relief.
Actually, like more. It's so like, because for a while I lost all sense of, before I felt like I could feel whatever is happening and whatever I'm doing. It is like there was that kind of sense that I know exactly what is happening. What to do or something. But that all disappeared, and it is just like, but there's also natural confidence, because it's like it just happens, But because I've been doing it for like all my life, but it is like when I thought that I was doing something that was more like tiring or more like, I don't know, it was heavier. But then when it become just like happening all by itself, it became
effortless.
So much effort, like it's totally effortless. And it's almost like, oh, I'm home, and then, oh, I'm going to work and see clients, and it's just like exactly the same. And then yeah, it feels like I think the people who are not fitting, they naturally disappear, and the people who are more like, connecting to the energy is naturally there. So yeah, and then they'll say, like, oh, Grace, it's miracle or magic or something. I was like, Grace, you really understand me. Say, but that, I don't know, it's like they seem to have that experience. But it is so easy, because it's like, I know it's not that there is like a magic or miracle. I'm not doing anything. It is just their own experience. Somehow it's like they're kind of also projecting to the emptiness, and somehow energetically just
Oh, so look for the child. If child is like sad, and you just take her and just hugging. You're not doing anything, but this is already healing. Like you see, like when there's no tears and smile is coming and it's gone, whatever there was.
It's exactly the same. I have a client, for example, that are maybe 90 years old, and I don't know, she lives alone, and she's like, I don't know, she says, it's like, oh, I worry so much. And then, so, before I see her all the time, it's like, oh, so stressed though. Yeah. Like, I don't know, but then because who she is, because it's so obvious who she is, so it's so pure, it's so like pure love. And then, and then afterwards she's like, oh, this is like heaven. It's like Christ. Yes, it's like, I love you so much. And it's like, I love you so much too. It's like, oh, I don't know, it's kind of really also wonderful to have this dream of being human, and
seemingly helping others, like
seemingly helping others, but it's I think that's,
nothing wrong with making dream better, because this is what's going on, this daydreaming.
But it's not like anybody's making dream better. It feels like it's already like the dream wants to dream better. I don't know. I mean, I can only speak here, I don't know, so it seems like it's kind of nobody's creating, but somehow continuously moving, I don't know, creating just more amazing people coming into, I don't know, my life. And it is like, wow, it kind of like constantly becoming better. But of course, nothing is happening. But like, that's for me, that's kind of like, wow.
This is heaven.
I know.
There is no heaven or hell after death. This is death, this is heaven, this is hell. Like suffering is this earth hell. And this, I can say, is like heaven.
Yeah. I know. And there is like, I think, natural kind of like, oh, like, I wish other people, or like also, this is my friend. Oh my gosh, because I'm supposed to.
Are you
supposed to do exercises? My this is my friend in non-duality from Estonia. Because sometimes I tell Terry, and she always says, it's so interesting. It's so interesting.
I do.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, nice to meet you. I've always wanted to go to Estonia.
You're welcome here.
Yes, I wanted to go there and go on a sleigh ride, like what you have during Christmas in the snow. It looked amazing.
Yeah. I slept yesterday, 2 days ago in the snow.
Oh.
Yeah, this one wasn't so fun because I had this confusion for my head. Yeah, it's snowy, but it's quite sad because I haven't seen 1 week the sun, so it's quite dark. But you are always welcome here. We do sauna, and you can experience the snow.
All right, Terry. Terry, we're gonna go with John. We're gonna go and visit her. That's the plan.
Yeah. Do you still want to do? Do you want me to get off?
No. It's good. It's probably okay. Get off, and then I will connect to you. Let me just say goodbye to Era.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Bye. Slowly.
I'm trying.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she's another friend. It is also. It's like, even though she doesn't, do you know what I mean? Like non-duality, she's like, it's so interesting, but her being is pure love, like so much love. And I don't know, it's naturally also, it's like, it's so you can kind of like, I feel like it's naturally, it's like, you know, it's recognizing also, I don't know, people who are just
Innocent.
Innocent, oh my gosh, Terry is like so so innocent that it's like, it's like, no, life is good.
Beautiful.
So lovely.
So nice to talk with you.
Yes. And well, we'll be in touch, and I would love to see you in person. And also, I'm in New York. If you ever, want to travel.
We like to travel. So when the borders are open for people like us, then we can come to the US.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we'll come first.
Yeah. See you.
I love you so much, Era. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.